welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account. I'm Marudo. AJ is back. Long drive for him today, but he's trooping through.
Yeah, much longer drive yesterday.
Yeah.
But I got home and took a quick shower, and
now you're here.
Yeah, I had to wash the stank of Nebraska off of me.
Well, good thing you took the time to take the shower then.
I feel like not $1 billion, but a fresh, off the press $10 bill.
Hey, that's $10 as part of the yacht fund, just like $1 million. All right, so
I tell you, it was. Before we get into this, it was great. I stopped at a gas station in Fargo yesterday, and after being in Canada for 3 weeks, I got accustomed to wearing my mask again everywhere we went. And so the first place that I walked in, I was wearing my mask, and a guy called me a pussy. So I was like, "We're back in the States, baby. Let's go." It was good. I have no hate for Nebraska except for their football team, but Nebraska's dope. It's good to be back. Honestly, I won't be here long. I miss the lady already. It's weird being without her.
You're gonna be busy while you're without her. So
I tell you, it's so nice to be back on my battle station setup, though. And
I bet.
I'm gonna enjoy Raid this week so much.
All right, so obviously the main topic of today. Thank you for the super chat, Jacob. I don't know if we're gonna talk you off the cliff, but it's gonna be a big conversation about Gabe Landeskog being exposed in the expansion draft and what we know about the current situation. It doesn't sound great. Yeah. Is the miracle ploy? People are saying, is this the long con, AJ, or is it just
no?
Okay.
Let's dispel the notion right now that this is some sort of sideshow that these two are putting on, so that they can protect Logan O'Connor.
Seems like a lot of work to do that.
A lot of work. You've got the agent pumping one side of the media. You know, you have a team that doesn't pump the media, a team that just is like, whatever will get said. You know, and they're just like, ah. And I said that I wouldn't be concerned until another team is allowed to talk numbers with him. Another team. First of all, they got rid of the tampering period, and it was like all pretenses are gone. Like, yep. Nick Foligno is just signing in Minnesota. This is just a thing that people know. Like, shouldn't there be some people kind of pissed off that there was blatant tampering has clearly happened there? Like, do we not remember that you're not supposed to talk to free agents, but somehow Nick Foligno's like, well, I'm signing in Minnesota. Is he just like telling the Wild, like, whatever number, it's fine. It works. I want to play with my brother, BB. It's all good. Like, because that, like, I said I wasn't going to be nervous until other teams could start talking numbers. Well, if other teams are just saying F the rules, well, I'm going to talk numbers whenever the hell I want. That's problematic, man.
And you know that they got rid of the tampering period and every team was like, so we're just going to keep doing this anyway, right? Like, it didn't stop anything. It didn't change anything. It was just a change in the front-facing rules. But
yeah, not to, like, let's not be naive. Like, tampering has always been a thing.
Right. Long before the existence of free agency, basically, tampering has been going on when it comes to talking to players to get them to sign. But this was the first warning sign, right? Is
yep,
Landy is not protected.
He's not protected. From the conversations that I've had over the weekend, and obviously a little limited because I've been driving, and although, well, we'll get into this later. Let me just say, I learned a lot about Tupac and Biggie in 7 hours today. When in between learning a lot of stuff that I didn't know about their relationship / rivalry in the rap world.
Yeah, who killed them both?
Well, now I have theories. I mean, I had theories before, but now I've got theories. Really, like, as the week went on, when the Graves deal went down, things felt pretty good.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, this is moving in the right direction. This is a move that like they needed to make, but I think that this is a move that expresses confidence that they probably. I did. Real Politic knows. I did listen to Slow Burn season 3. It was a move that I think that felt like it expressed some sort of internal confidence, even though I don't
get their things done. Yeah,
I don't necessarily think they were related. There's been some people who have hit me up and they've been like, "Well, why did they give Ryan Graves away for nothing and make the defense worse if they aren't even going to use that money on land?" Like, they needed that money no matter what they do. They needed that cash.
Yeah,
they were going to lose Graves literally for nothing on Wednesday, so now they got something for him, and now they're going to lose a different guy.
Yeah.
Whether that guy is Landy, we will see. The conversations I had over the weekend, though, did not make me feel optimistic. But I would also caution people, look, it's the 18th. We have 10 days until free agency opens.
Yep.
We still have two full drafts that will help change the landscape of the NHL.
Yep.
Before this happens. So anybody that's writing, Landeskog 2011 to 2021 tombstone, putting the end date with the Avs there, it's still premature, fam.
Don't be all in, don't be all out just yet. Yeah.
There are still lots of twists and turns here. Okay, Jacob, we have to tackle this. They're allowed to answer Ryan's question here. Are they allowed to still negotiate with Landy? Are they frozen out? Look, we just talked about how teams are brazenly saying F the tampering period.
Yeah.
They're gonna talk. Yeah. Can we bring up that super chat from Jacob?
Sure. Was it just Suge Knight?
That was my theory going in. That's my theory going out, but I just feel different about it.
Is it also Suge Knight telling Landy to sign for $9 million?
It's not, but that would be such a Suge thing to do. No, to be honest, Suge would be like, ask for 11.
True.
And if you don't get it, go threaten his family. I did hear that what Andy Strickland was reporting about the $9 to $10 million contract numbers being bandied about is accurate. I got confirmation that those numbers are accurate, which is,
it's hard to see how the Avs can make that work, man.
Okay, take out the Avs in that sentence.
How many teams can make it work?
Drop in every competitive team, and it's still accurate.
Yeah, I don't know that there is one.
You look at so you talk about St. Louis, right? The Blues as like, we've heard the most smoke with them, okay? They've got $17 million in cap space. They have 7 forwards signed. If their 8th is Landeskog and it's for $9 million, that chews up over half of their cap space, and they have to give raises to both Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas. Now, they may not be substantial raises now, but you got to feel that you still have to ice a team here.
They still haven't even solved their Vince Dunn problem either.
That'll be taken care of on Wednesday when the Kraken just straight take that guy.
You think so? No doubt about it. Well, we'll talk about that later. In any case, to your original point, exactly. Unless Landeskog wants to go to a bottom feeder, it sure seems like it would be a mistake for any competitor for the cup to throw $9 million out there for Landeskog.
Well, the Islanders just gave away 2 players.
Yep.
And they have, well, it's technically $12 million in cap space. I don't think that counts Boychuk's $6 million.
Correct.
So they will have they will have the money to do whatever. Are they really going to have a 7th forward making more than $5 million on their books?
Not just that, but they need to round out their roster as well. They still need a backup goalie. They still need at least one more defenseman.
Well, they need to give Adam Pelech a raise, a guy who received Norris votes this year.
Beauvillier is probably going to get a raise as well.
Ryan Pulock is a free agent next year, and should be in line for a raise of some kind from $5 million.
Yep.
They've got work to do. Like, could they, $18 million again? You can
make it work, probably.
Yeah, but they put that's them being like, okay, well, we don't have any draft picks left, but we'll totally trade you guys, something so that you guys take Jordan Eberle.
Yep. But those are the types of multifaceted moves that it's just not going to be super clear until after Wednesday.
Yeah,
it's hard to judge. As it stands right now, any team that made the second round last year, I struggle to see how they can fit Landeskog today. Wednesday, maybe that's a different story. But
well, and right now, like, Seattle can talk contract with Landeskog, but they can also give him the 8th year.
Yep.
And would they do that? I mean, would you give if you're starting a franchise fresh, you've got Gabe Landeskog willing to take an 8x8. He's an unbelievable human being. Give him he's the first C.
Yeah, instant first captain of your team. He plays out the rest of his career with you. Sure would be enticing from Seattle's side.
Yep. Would Landy want to do it? I mean,
that's the question here, right?
But how enticing is it from Seattle's side? Genuinely, how enticing is it?
I mean,
you have a guy that's 29 years old, and while we all agree he's likely to age pretty well and continue to be a valuable player throughout the age of that contract, $8 million is a lot of money.
It is
for a guy that's not a franchise. A true franchise player. We've called him the face of the franchise, but that's different than being on ice.
He's never been the best player on the team, though.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
Because it was Duchesne in his first couple of years, and then it's been McKinnon, basically.
Yeah. I tell you, no offense intended here, but I'm not going to believe this is the real Andy Strickland until that dude DMs us from his Twitter account to our DNVR Avalanche Twitter account. Yeah. If you want me to believe that that's for real and that you want to come on and talk and you want to continue to be taken seriously in our chat, that's what you have to do. Until then, I'm going to assume that this is Zach O'Donnell pretending.
Probably a safe bet, to be honest. But keep
them DMs open though, just in case.
The DMs are open. I'll sit here watching them, but I think looking at this situation with Landy, it's just, I mean, is he willing to go to a non-contender? I guess that's the question. Because if he's willing to go to a weak team, there are teams. Detroit could sign him tomorrow. Ottawa could sign him tomorrow if they wanted to.
Wait, what?
With Landy. if you're talking about teams that aren't competitive at the moment.
Oh, yes. I mean, he can't sign with those guys yet.
Well, right. The freeze. He wouldn't be able to sign to the 28th, obviously. But
this is an important note, and then the super chat from Carrie touches on this.
We'll get.
Yeah. So should we panic now that Landy not protected and will sign with Seattle or someone else? What do you guys think? Look, I would say be nervous, but right now it's one team. It's Seattle.
Yep.
He's allowed to sign with Seattle. Now, technically, a team could roll in and make a side deal, and they could do blah, 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 right? And do a sign and trade.
Right.
And give Seattle something, and Seattle makes that their pick from Colorado. And then that's a lot of work. A team could do it, though. If they can get Landy, to agree and blah, 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 then that is a possible thing. But right now, it's one team. And if that doesn't happen, if Landy is not the guy that they take, or that is Seattle's selection, then once again, we're in the same spot. Colorado is the only team. After the expansion draft on Wednesday, Colorado will be the only team that is allowed to sign Landeskog until the 28th when free agency opens up.
Correct.
I would say be nervous until Wednesday, and then when we find out when the expansion draft takes place,
if he's gone or not at that point,
if he's not selected, he's still an Av until the 28th. They can still offer him the ultimate trump card, which is the 8th year, until the 28th. They can do 8, and I've been told that they are willing to that they will explore that as an option. I've also been told that they have made a number of competitive offers in the 7-year, $7 million range that have been flat out rejected.
I assume this was attached to this super chat. Thank you, George, who asked exactly that. Does a 7x7 get it done?
I have been told that the Anders Lee deal came into play, and at the moment is not good enough. And if you're Colorado and you're being told that 7x7 isn't good enough, you're in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Because you can't go.
It's hard to go higher than that with knowing what you have coming.
That's a tough, I could totally, St. Louis would absolutely offer that 7x7.
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat.
They would probably even go to 8 million. But at that point, you are having a legitimate conversation. Can he live up to that deal?
Right. Especially for the Avs, it's not only can Landeskog live up to the deal. If he's asking for $9 million, the conversation at a certain point becomes, well, then it's Landeskog or McKinnon, and the Avs are going to choose McKinnon as the better on-ice hockey player by a long shot. So at a certain point, the Avs' hands are tied, right? If he's firmly in this $9 million range and won't come down, I just don't see how the Avs can do it.
Agreed.
So
I mean, look, I know a lot of you guys are asking what happens if he walks. Look, we will, on the podcast via articles and all that, we will cross that bridge if we get there.
If he walks, we'll be talking about it.
I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on what they could do if he leaves, because we don't know what that world looks like yet. Did he go to Seattle? Did he go to free agency? Did they make any deals in between then? Who did they lose in expansion? All of these things, we need to get through the first 2 drafts and on to next year's slot of picks and prospects and all of that in order to really dig into what's next. So I know a lot of you guys are curious about that as a big thing, but I don't want to get too. I really just don't want to address it.
We're not going to.
He's actually gone.
If we try to address it now, it could be wildly inaccurate to the point of being irrelevant. So that's something that you can react to after it happens. We just we're reacting to everything that we know. Another super chat here from Real Politic. How concerned should we be that while we are losing guys, Graves, Expansion, and maybe Landy, Vegas is not? We still have to go through them.
Well, right now they're getting set to lose Alec Martinez, and then they're also going to have to figure out their goaltending. They're not going to. Yeah, they're not running it back with $12 million again.
Right. It's not sustainable. If they want to do anything this offseason, they have to shed cap still. So
yeah, and right now they're going to lose Alec Martinez as of right now.
Yep.
They could still. I haven't heard that they've had. I haven't heard anything about any talks between those two sides. Sure. So I don't know what's going on there. So that's why I'm saying, as of right now, for if I'm a betting man, is that not the perfect landing spot for Ryan Suter?
It sure seems like it would be an easy swap into that spot.
But that's just me saying, boy, that makes all the sense in the world. Colorado still doesn't really totally make a ton of sense if the team is planning on having EJ available. If they're not, Ryan Suter in Colorado still makes short-term sense.
Yep.
And God, I could only stress only short-term sense. But anyway.
By short-term, he means 1 year and 1 year only. One more super chat here from Jacob. In today's sports, would you either give up some money to play for a championship or get paid to play in mediocrity? You can't really have both. I don't know that that's true either. Yeah, I don't think I agree necessarily.
I will say, though, you look at the highest paid players in the league, and not a whole lot of them went deep into the postseason.
This year.
Yeah, correct.
Right. I think it can vary a little bit, but it's hard to. I will agree in saying that it is hard to get paid by a team that's already competitive, right? When you're talking about Landeskog's situation, he's asking for $9 million to also go to a contender. If that's the case, that's a hard sell for a lot of contenders right now, especially in the NHL, because the NHL is in a very weird spot where their cap is flat and teams just don't have the money. They don't have the expanding cap to rely on to create the space for themselves.
Yeah.
But any chance the Avs pay a little more for Landy, then extend Mac super early for, say, $10 million, but give him that signing bonus now to entice him? I'll tell you, Mac ain't signing for 10. It's going to be more than that. But
what does super early mean? The Avs aren't allowed to give McKinnon a new deal until next year at the earliest.
Yep.
And the way that bonus money works in the NHL, that's like salary structure stuff.
Yeah, all cap stuff in the NHL is based on annual value. You can't. The funniness with dollars every year is just purely what you're paying the player. It has nothing to do with the cap hit.
Correct.
Pin King says Ovechkin is exposed as well. Landy is staying. See, the thing about Ovechkin is he said he's going to play in Washington or go to Russia. So it's a little bit.
Well, it's the same thing as like Tuukka Rask, right? And he said it's Boston or it's nowhere.
Right.
Look, don't we all think that this would be a little bit different if Gabe Landeskog came out tomorrow and said it's Colorado or nowhere?
Yeah, I think everyone would take a deep breath and go, we're chilling. But Landy hasn't said that. The only thing Landy is on record saying is that he's disappointed it's taken this long.
Yeah. Did we talk about the Avs cap overage? They have one. It's $1.7 million.
Yep. That is what it is. Done.
Yep.
Next.
Yep. It's not based on the bonuses that they got. Like Alex Newhook had like 30 grand in
some small
in games played bonuses.
Yeah.
And then pretty much the rest of that is Makar just being dope.
Being a Norris finalist.
Yeah. And like finishing like top 10 among defensemen and this and this and this and
top
this.
4 and everything on the team for defensemen. Yeah.
So
what's the logic behind exposing Landy? He's not signed and the deal's not done.
And it pretty much It pretty much guarantees that unless they lose Landy, they will lose Comfort Donskoy.
Yeah, just as we can kind of transition into the other topic we want to get to today, here is the official Avs protected list. McKinnon, Rantanen, Burakovsky, Kadri, Natushkin, Jost, and then O'Connor taking the last spot for the forwards. Defense, goaltending, obvious choices are obvious there.
Mm-hmm.
That being Landeskog, Donskoy, and Comfer, the three big exposed forwards, essentially. You assume one of those three is very likely getting taken unless they just want to take no money from the Avs, and then it'll be someone like McDonald or something. But
I think, again, I've said this in the past. If Seattle wants to do something stupid and take Jacob McDonald, then
that's fine. Yeah,
then that's one less player that Colorado has to worry about replacing.
Yep.
Because right now they're going to be hard pressed to replace Jonas Donskoy, especially if they keep Landy. They're going to be really hard pressed to do that.
Yeah,
replacing Jonas Donskoy is going to be tough, and he's the guy that I think is in the crosshairs.
Yep, I think it's
although
as well.
It's still early, but I would say I don't necessarily think that Jonas Donskoy is a Kraken. I think he's the guy that they are likely to lose, but I don't know that he's the guy likely to stay.
Flippy flips going on there a little bit. Yeah.
Just if you're a team that really needs middle six scoring of some kind, maybe. I mean, Seattle needs scoring of all kinds right now, so he obviously has value to them.
Seattle also likely wants a lot of picks, so
yeah. Well, is there a world where the Avs pay Seattle to take EJ and his money? I think that probably died when Ron Francis came out and said our most valuable asset is cap space.
Yeah.
That wasn't encouraging.
Taking on $6 million is not going to come easy at that point.
That sounded like a straight vulture where he was like, I'll take Eric Johnson if you give me 2 first-round picks and Connor Timmins.
And that's like, hang up the phone after that. Just
man, 6 minutes. Jeez, that is tough.
Hard pass.
Yeah, I think that's tough. That's rough. But that's purely me speculating that Ron Francis is trying to straight up gut teams, and I feel confident about that.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's any doubt about that fact.
Yeah. One thing I definitely didn't feel confident about was those protection lists that I spent a ton of time doing. And I've been slowly, because I didn't get to see very many of them until I got home just a little while ago. So I haven't even gone through all of them, but I got a couple of teams right, and that made me feel good.
Well,
like I got Winnipeg's correct. I got like Calgary's correct. I was like, yeah, sweet.
We're gonna go through the Central Division on today's show. So should we just start there? Should we start with your prime glory and nailing Winnipeg, AJ?
Sure. Yeah. I mean the 7 forwards were easy.
Pretty easy.
The goaltender was easy, and 2 of the defensemen were easy.
Yeah.
It was just Logan Stanley or Dylan DeMello, and I correctly guessed that they would go with the young guy.
So is that your flip side to this as well? Just refresh my memory. Is this a take DeMello and walk away for Seattle?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I would take. Look, we are doing a mock draft on Tuesday. So I imagine you and I will probably sit down tomorrow and seriously dig into this and try
all of the available people
and build multiple rosters to try and
figure out the best one. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dylan on paper, Dylan DeMello in a vacuum would be the best pick there. But after that, Appleton would be the other guy that I would strongly look at.
All right.
As a good depth guy that I like, who's going to be cheap.
Okay, let's go to. I'm assuming this has to be the weirdest protection list in the league, right? In Nashville, they protected 5 defensemen, 3 forwards, including whatever a Tanner Jeannot is.
Yeah, 2 real forwards and then a witness protection program person.
And then Saros and net obviously makes sense. But the forwards also were Forsberg and Kunin, and then they protected Carrier, Ekholm, Fabro, Yossi, and Myers.
First of all, they led up to this by giving away Ryan Ellis.
Right.
And like I really like Phil Myers as a defenseman. I really like Phil Myers. I would also like to give a shout out to Katie if she's watching. Oh, she's right there. Myers. Hey, what's up, Katie? I felt awful for her when I saw this news because that's the world's biggest Phil Myers fan that's not related to Phil Myers. But it was I really like him as a defenseman. He's a good young second pairing defenseman.
He's not Ryan Ellis.
But you're talking about freaking Ryan Ellis. What? And then like, oh, hey, you also got Nolan Patrick. Hey, that's a really smart upside play. You flipped him 1-for-1 for Cody Clark. What? Are you high? Have you watched either one of them in the NHL before? I know David Poile got hit in the head with a puck a few years ago and it gave him some vision problems. Has he not gotten better? What? I got to the gas station in Fargo right before I got called a pussy. And that news broke, and that news broke and then broke me because I couldn't understand.
Dude, I've heard some sentiment from Z that when the news started breaking, you desperately needed your Twitter account back to let out the madness.
So like people started like hitting her up and being like, what does AJ think of all this? And I was like, I should just give you like a stream of consciousness on all of these moves because what? I have like, first of all, the response from the race car driver Ryan Ellis on Twitter was hilarious because he said trade me back, and that was very funny. Second of all, Chuck Fletcher's like an all right GM, but that was like grand larceny. Like that's
that's how you get put on a don't call again list.
Like, I genuinely don't know. You know, where's my phone?
Oh God, here we go. Here we go.
This is what if I was David Poile, this is what it would look like. Oh no.
Did you delete it?
No, my whole page of spam is gone.
Uh-oh. It's over.
Yeah, I had a whole page where it was just potential spam because it was the Canadian government calling me.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that you can wear cowboy boots all the time. Sorry, Nolan.
I don't know. That would be awesome.
Never tie his shoes again.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. This is it. This top number. This top number is also spam, but
lots of spam going on there.
That is what I would be doing to Chuck Fletcher's number. I would change his name to potential spam after he fleeced me that badly. I would be doing that because that was, I don't understand. Can we put that protection list up again?
Yes, happily. If I can find it. There we go.
What is this monstrosity?
For the record, this exposes Matt Duchene. This exposes Ryan Johansson. This exposes Kalle Järnkrok. This exposes Rocco Grimaldi.
Avs killer Colton Sissons.
Yakov Trenin. There are 7 forwards that meet the exposure requirement that Nashville is exposing.
Connor Ingram.
He still wants Connor Ingram.
Connor Ingram, baby.
Of course he does.
What am I doing? Taking Matt Duchene's money?
That's true.
Ryan Johansson's money?
If he's so dead set on salary cap being important, he ain't touching that.
I know. I just got back into Denver, but I'm not that high.
Not yet, at least.
No. I would be intrigued by Calle Jarnkrok.
My man. Yeah, see, but Nolan Patrick plays hockey, so he has to tie his skates eventually, Chad. Okay?
Yeah. I like Andrews. Why bother protecting anyone? Just submit a blank list.
Take somebody. We don't care.
Well, that's where they would be like, okay, well, we'll take Philip Forsberg. And that's one of like 3 players that the Preds are actually like, no, don't do that.
I mean, Roman Josi did just win a Norris 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, and UC Saros is also coming off a great year.
Yeah.
He's pretty young, so...
True enough. Let's move on to the one of the potential Landeskog hoarders here. The St. Louis Blues, obviously Binnington in net, Falk, Krug, and Parayko on the defensive side. Then for forwards, they have Barbashev, Kyrou, O'Reilly, Perron, Shen, Sundqvist, and Thomas. St. Louis exposing in the wake of this Tarasenko. No big surprise there with all the rumors swirling around him. Schwartz is a UFA, also somewhat expected there. As far as signed guys, they have Mackenzie McEachran and Kyle Clifford, as well as Sammy Blais out there.
I think there's only 2 real options here. You take the chance on Tarasenko because it's only 2 years. You take Vince Dunn.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say no to Vince Dunn, man. 24, he's an RFA. Yes, he's due for a raise. Yes, you're going to have to sign him even with the down year that he had. But again, in a vacuum, I would pick Vince Dunn. But you have to go back and look and see what the defense this team can build. And then AJ's cracking up at some comment that I'm sure I haven't seen.
Bit shocking they protected Jordan Binnington, to be honest.
Yes, but also no.
And again, like this is a team like Sammy Blais, Zach Sanford, like these are like decent,
right.
depth guys. But the problem is that every team has at least one decent depth guy,
right?
And
not every team is exposing an upside as good as Tarasenko,
right? Or a 24-year-old defenseman with some really good underlines early in his career in Vince Dunn.
Yep.
So I think for me personally, just how I build a team, Vince Dunn is one of my 6 for sure that I take and keep on defense.
I mean,
and I plan to play him.
I personally would be in love with taking Tarasenko, but if I'm Seattle, I agree with you. I think Vince Dunn is probably the better move.
Like if you and I were running Seattle and we were co-GMs, we would probably have to flip a coin on this one because I would say, look, if you wanted to take Tarasenko, I wouldn't feel like that's the wrong move.
Sure.
And I don't think you would feel like taking Dunn is the wrong move either.
Exactly.
It would be one where it's like we're gonna feel good about the player that we take here. I think one of them is doing St. Louis a huge solid because if they take Tarasenko, they've got all the Landy money they need.
Right, exactly. And signing Landy gets a lot easier if Tarasenko is just off their books for nothing. But definitely an interesting one.
Colin with a great idea that they take Tarasenko and then they just offer up to retain 50%. Look, again, it's just 2 years. And how would you feel about taking on? Let's say Landy does leave. Yeah.
And
Tarasenko at 3.75
all day, baby. All day.
That's a chance you take.
That shiny new 2nd-round pick they just got. Just
shit, dude. Even we're still trying to get rid of this year's picks. Like we're so behind on draft coverage. Please trade these things. We tried so hard to talk about the NHL draft last week, and we just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's just the NHL was like, nah. There's too much news.
we do a show with Will on Monday where we're like, great, this will kind of kick it all off, and we'll spend all week talking about it. Don't bring it up again the rest of the week because we can't.
Yeah.
But that would be like a great idea. That's a great plan B pivot. And to be honest with you, even if they sign Landy, that's a pretty good replace Sod plan B pivot.
Yes, at half price, definitely yes.
Like you replace Donskoy by going out and getting a half price Tarasenko. You give up a first round pick or whatever. Like that's a super interesting idea.
I agree.
Even if they just retain like say $2 million. That's still
you're still paying 5.5 for him. Then
yeah.
I'd still do it for sure.
Yep. And ownership will love it because I actually should check this before I say this, but I think the actual cash is less than that.
Yeah, I believe you're correct actually on that. I think and I think it goes down at the end of the deal, right?
Oh yeah, it's actually super not. His cash this year is 9.5, and then next year is 5.5.
Okay, so it's next year that it goes down.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. All right.
Great. His cash setup is all over the place.
I believe it.
2 years of 8, and then 7-7, 9-5, 5-5, 9-5, 5-5.
Yeah, that's the all right. This is where the lockouts might happen. Contract is what.
Well, you would think if it was with that, it would be in signing bonuses instead, or in signing bonuses because then that's buyout proof.
That's true.
But they may not. The teams weren't really doing the buyout proof deals back in 2015.
Yeah, because that was right after the other lockout.
Anyway, we were like, we're not going to talk about Landeskog replacement. And then
it just
we're like,
happened, okay.
Let's talk about Vlad Tarasenko. Like, I don't know. You and I both love the player, even understanding that he could be a forever
grenade.
Shell of himself.
Yep, definitely could be.
Yeah, but that's St. Louis is kind of in an interesting spot there.
Yep. Let's go to Dallas next. They decided to protect Khudobin. First of all,
when they got Bishop to waive, I mean that was the
knew it was coming at that point.
Exactly.
Defense, the freshly new contracted Miro Heiskanen, and then Klingberg and Lindell. The forwards, Ben, Fox, Gurianov, Hintz, Pavelski, Radulov, and Sagan. For Dallas, that leaves exposed on the defensive side, essentially nothing. On the, I guess, I don't know if you really want to take something crazy, you could take a UFA like Alexiak or Vatanen or something, but on the forward side, that leaves our old friend Blake Como, Tanner Caro, some RFAs like Masherin or something like that. Or I guess Cogliano's a UFA too. Not a super interesting team.
Yeah, and L'Esperance is a guy that's gotten some games with them.
True.
If I saw this correctly, I thought Nick Camano got a deal.
Not according to Cap Friendly.
Oh no, it was a guy from Minnesota that got a deal.
Okay.
Who has
I don't know.
Oh, it was Cremarosa that I was thinking of. Anyway. Their trade of Dickinson took away any
the most interesting guy, basically.
That was the guy that I had ticketed and said Dickinson. This is it. This is the guy. And they were like, we also recognize that, and he's got to go.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe you just take like a Julius Honka to be like an AHL guy for you or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, with Honka, there's, is he ever going to live up to that potential? Probably not. Right. And really, I think Bishop would have to be
in the conversation for sure.
Of some interest here. They would really need medicals,
clean bills of health and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
They would have to know what's going on.
Yep, definitely.
Otherwise you're like kind of stuck with like this is probably a free agent team. Like
you could like YOLO at Colton Point or something, maybe. I don't know.
Like, would you take Sekera and try and flip him somewhere else? Like,
No, I would not touch Sekera.
Well, and like you would only take him because a team has already agreed to take him off your hands.
Yeah,
you won't take him and get stuck with him, because at that point you would just take whatever UFA and not sign him.
I'd throw the at everyone out in the Slack channel and be like, anybody wants Sekera in the GM chat?
Yeah. Every 20 minutes. Like, when nobody responds, and finally Steve Yzerman's like, knock it off, and then bullies you, and you're like, okay, sorry. We won't mess with him.
Fine. Next guy on their list. All right. Next up, we're moving on to the Minnesota Wild. Nothing too insane here. Their biggest part is dealing with Kaprizov at the moment, it feels like. But they're protecting Talbot in net, so didn't try anything crazy with Kakkonen. Yeah.
I haven't seen this list yet. They protected Nico Sturm over Nick Bjugstad. There you
Correct.
Go. Done. Yep. Nick Bjugstad's my guy.
You're taking Bjugstad for the center?
Just for the record, I can't stand Carson Soucy, but analytically, I would understand why they would take him.
All right. Fair enough. The protection list defensively: Brodin, Dumba, Spurgeon, Eriksson, Fiala, Foligno, Greenway, Hartman, Sturm, and Zuccarello on the forward side. Yeah,
and Kakkonen in net would also be a guy that I think.
Yeah, I think Kakkonen might be more interesting, honestly. But Bjugstad, Soucy, Kakkonen, pick your poison. It should be a fun one for Seattle to. I guess this is one of the teams they can be flexible with, right? Put Minnesota at the bottom of the list and say, hey, look, we can get Kakkonen. Hey, look, we can get
yeah, that's true. You could feel comfortable taking a player from all three levels here.
Yep.
So that's a good point there, that they should try and build their team out and then be like, what do we have left over? And then use Minnesota to do that.
Yep. Exactly.
That's a smart approach.
Sometimes I turn my brain on. Not often. Sometimes. Chicago.
Don't waste your humility on this pod. Flex on it. Holy shit! Is this list real?
This is a real list, my friend.
What is this list?
Kevin Lankinen protected in net. That defense they have protected is Caleb Jones, Riley Stillman, and Connor Murphy. The forwards are Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, Dylan Strome, David Kampf, Brandon Hagel, Alex DeBrincat, and Henrik Borgstrom, exposing players like Calvin DeHaan, Nikita Zadorov, Ryan Carpenter, Brett Connolly.
Oh, for me, this is Adam Gaudette.
You think you're all over Adam Gaudette?
I really like Gaudette.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I really like him. So, Taves has an NMC.
Correct.
So.
Has to be protected.
And I don't know that he made their injury exempt list when they made that list. I don't remember who those 18 players were. But almost it was like 13 of those 18 were guys who were retired.
Yep.
So very few active players made that list.
I believe at that point Toews had already announced his intent to return next season. So, or at least he was going to try. But we'll see.
Yeah. I don't really like Calvin DeHaan at 1 year.
Not great, yeah.
He's just too beat up. And then obviously like Zadorov is like the juicy bait there, right? Where you're like, he's 26. He's got like 300 games played in the NHL already, and
he's big. He can hit people.
Yeah, like it's just like,
dude, imagine like turning Brandon Saad into expansion draft bait.
Well, imagine turning Brandon Saad into to a UFA that leaves you.
I mean, fair enough, but don't have to imagine that one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like Z would be fine. I don't know, like we've heard some crazy contract stuff. About what Zadorov might be looking for. I don't know why.
Time he's gone down that road, yeah.
But I will say, given what Ron Francis did in Carolina, I would understand the appeal. that in his prime, Zadorov, 26 years old, with the attributes that he has, you can kind of build around him there to put him in a position where he only has to do the things he's good at.
Sure.
So I think that's if they went that route. I mean, for me, this is Gaudette, but I really like Gaudette. So,
this tier complexity has been the worst group by a good bit. Echo has been significantly better through Sanctum so far.
Have they been better? Because they've been really cheesy. It's like, is it cheesy? Is it effective? You're in a race here,
right? Like,
I don't know. It's an interesting conversation.
Regardless of the KT cheese, I do think they were significantly better on Painsmith, but before.
There's no doubt about that. But Limit also is like done work on the other bosses.
True.
And I did not see their KT kill, so I don't know what that looks like. And I haven't watched any Windrunner. Yeah, I haven't seen Limit's KT kill. I told you I saw echoes as it happened.
Yeah, once Echo did the cheese, Limit just said, "Okay, we're doing the cheese."
Oh, that's really disappointing. But I can also understand why they did it.
Yep. Before we lose the rest of our audience, stop talking about that and round out the Central with their newest member, the team with no picks.
Oh yeah, what did Arizona's list look like?
This is their list.
Wow, they really did Kyle Capobianco, huh? That's so dumb.
Capobianco, Chikrin, and OBL on defense. Kemper in net. Kraus, Dvorak, Garland, Keller, Kessel, Larson, and Schmaltz for the forwards.
Oh, this is Christian Fischer all the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Done. I know who I'm taking in our mock draft.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yep.
24-year-old winger. Slam dunk.
It's either that or I'm taking Andrew Ladd.
Please don't.
Come on, I'm doing it.
All right. I am vetoing that as your co-GM.
Fine.
Even if they want to give you something for it, I'm vetoing that.
How many more picks? Yeah, this dude and I are vibing tonight. These teams are bad. Christian Fischer is probably where I go here. Christian Fischer or Tyler Pitlick.
I'm taking Fischer over Pitlick, I think.
Me too, just purely because one's 24 years old.
Exactly.
So
RFA, you have control. They're young.
Yeah. And then, no offense to Michael Bunting's really fun, 20 games to end the season or whatever, but I'll take the chance on Christian Fischer.
Yeah.
And that's not even like me being like, oh, he was a former top pick, I'm going to dream on him. It's not even like that. It's just who he is currently as an NHL player would be fine.
He will fit into your lineup somewhere.
For $1 million at 24 years old.
Easy.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. So that is the Central.
That's the Central. Were there any big surprises around the league that you noticed?
I haven't looked super closely at a lot of the East Coast teams. So
the one surprise that I saw out east that really got me was Daniel Sprong protected over Connor Sheary. I didn't see that one coming.
All right. That is a little weird, but
I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's same kind of thing. Sprong's only 24, but
yeah, but I mean, he's not very good.
Yeah, I hear you.
I like that Toronto went and got Jared McCann just to expose him.
That was weird.
So that it was like McCann or Kerfoot, you can only take one. Which one is it?
Okay.
So I because before they got McCann, it was like, well, they're taking Kerfoot.
Yeah, just take Kerfoot, right?
What? This is easy. And now it's like, which one? Yeah, I guess Domi's not considered a surprise because we found out a day or two before that they were going to expose him.
Yeah.
Again, just take him.
Don't make it complicated. Yeah.
Did Carolina protect Geeky? Oh, they didn't.
All right. AJ, keep your hype. We got to do a show about this tomorrow. You got to save it a little bit. All right.
Oh my God! Look at that Carolina list. Niederreiter, Geeky, and Jake Bean.
Save it. You got to save it for tomorrow, AJ. You got to hold on to it for at least like 12 hours.
I am a big Morgan Geeky fan, so that's the only reason. So I saw the Carey Price thing, and before we get out of here, I just want to say that I think it is incredible that two players who were just in the Stanley Cup Finals, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
Are suddenly their careers are in doubt.
Yep.
And it's like helping them. It's like helping the Habs protect. Like, oh, hey, because I've been saying for a year they're going to lose Jake Allen. Well, now they're like, oh, well, we're going to expose Carey Price. And, well, his career is in doubt now. He may not be healthy ever again. Okay? So take him at your own risk, stupid Ron Francis. And
whatever you
like,
do, just don't look at his playoff stats from this past 2 weeks. Just don't look. All right?
And it's like, Shea Weber, it's like, oh, yeah, he's already out all of next year. So we're going to expose him because he'll be hurt next year. He's already out. They took what Tampa Bay did and they were like, let's kick this motherfucker into overdrive. And it's like, if I'm Seattle, I'm seriously looking at Carey Price and I'm just like,
maybe you just do it, man.
I mean, 5 years, $10.5 million. It's a shitload of money for a 33-year-old goalie.
You take Carey Price, retain half, $5.5 million Carey Price for the world from some team.
From Colorado. Don't pay Philip Grubauer.
Just give 4 firsts to Seattle for $5.5 million Carey Price.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even like Carey, but like take Shea Weber and just be like, suck it. Like, take Shea Weber, retain $2 million and flip him somewhere else. Just
right.
Just to be like, we called your bluff, bitch. I don't know. I think that I don't know. This is why I can't be a GM. I'd be a petty asshole about it. Teams would stop answering my phone calls. I would be the guy that becomes potential spam.
AJ, potential spam Hafley. You heard it here first. All right. We do got to get out of here for the evening, though, chat. We'll have more protection list madness for you tomorrow at our normal time of 1 p.m. Tune in for all of that. We're going to have mock drafts. We're going to have the actual expansion draft show on Wednesday, live, watching along. Come vibe with us as we make fun of all the dumb GMs in the league when they do dumb stuff. Should be fun, and then we'll have our actual proper show after the expansion draft is over. So,
yeah, and then let's start planning for Be a GM show the 26th, next Monday.
Before I
would say start preparing your submissions starting on the 22nd, starting on Thursday. I don't want people sending me expansion draft crap. We will get to the other side of expansion, and then you guys can go ham with the draft and stuff. Like, let's do that.
Sounds perfect to me. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
My all-troll draft roster. I should make one of those just for fun. I saw Jay Fresh using his roster builder made a worst roster he could possibly put together. Did not have an AV player on it, so I'm assuming he just took a UFA and let him go. And it was like a 36-point team. It was so funny.
Pretty bad. In any case, we'll be back Monday, 1 p.m. Appreciate all y'all, however you consume the pod. And we will talk to you all tomorrow.